Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I am the Prez. That man is Teddy Covers. And Teddy, we got a NBA-style show, although we will get to football, that's for sure. Rob Veno joining us right off the top. Over and under win-loss record. He's going to talk Chicago Bulls, Dallas Mavericks, and Ron Cabang, otherwise known as YouCapper. He's got also over and under win-loss record, and he's looking at the Heat and the Grizzlies. You've got a big game breakdown. I got my daily presidential address, and of course, Dave Sharapan is joining us. Dude, what a fun game last night. Let's not get deep into it. Was it the right call or the wrong call on 4th and 1? I vote right call.
100% right call. Not a debate. All right.
Yep.
Anyone that's saying it's the wrong call is trying to play Monday morning quarterback after the play was over. You had a tired defense on the field and a chance to win the game in 1 yard to gain. You take that shot every time. Didn't work out. Yeah. Obviously cost them last night, but in terms of the decision-making process, there's no decision there. You don't kick a coin. You don't kick a field goal to make it a coin flip game in overtime. You go for the win right there.
And especially if you can't stop their offense. Totally agree with you. Guys, remember last year before the Buffalo Bills break, and they are now on a bye, they lost the Hail Mary play in Arizona. They came back 2 weeks later, never lost another game. Teddy, what did you learn last night in the wonderful world of sports?
So something happened last night that made me think about what the best bets actually are from a psychological standpoint. And you know what the actual best bet is that you can make? An over that cashes early. It's the easiest sweat there is, because all you're sweating is no rain, no early game cancellation. Yeah. Once you're there, you're there. You can lose a game where your team is leading 35-0 at halftime. You can lose an under 0-0 into the 14th inning. I've seen it. But you can't lose an over that cashes in the 4th. You know, those are the best ones, like the Red Sox and the Astros last night, because your risk is 0. It's really hard to get bad beaten in those type of games, Prez. When they cash, they cash. So overs, those are my favorite bets, because you don't have to sweat them once they're there. What about you, Prez? What did you learn?
Well, it's funny. I have something to say, but I want to comment on that. Listen, I bet a lot of totals, so I get it. And yeah, man, I mean, once that game goes over, it's just, but you're always winning your under until you're not. You literally start winning. Yep. You're winning. You're always winning. And then you're not. With the overs, you're never winning until you are. So just another... Guys, what did I learn last night in the wonderful world of sports betting? Well, lucky for us, most of our listeners listen every day. I mean, this is a lifestyle show. You get to hang with the Prez. What I learned is that there are moments where Teddy is dead freaking wrong. One of those was a few weeks ago when Teddy got on the show and said, running backs, they're worth nothing, not a point. And then Prez said, really, Teddy? What about Derrick Henry? Not a point. Nothing. Teddy, Derrick Henry is worth probably more points than any player in the league minus the quarterback. You still feel that Derrick Henry is worth 0 points?
So let's start with Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry right now has proven to be, and he's going to cost me money. I got a big bet on Derrick Henry under, I think it's 1,550 yards this year, and it's going to lose unless he gets hurt. All right.
Well, it's winning until it loses.
Running backs as a rule, are interchangeable in the NFL. And we've seen that in 14. Look at the Ravens, who lost all their running backs in preseason. They're fine. Look at the Vikings when Cook is out and then Madison's in. It's fine. We can go on and on down for for maybe 29 of the 30 teams. The one exception, and there is an exception to every rule, and Derrick Henry is proving that this year. All right, because the man is able to have when you talk about a workhorse back, that doesn't exist in the NFL in 2021. It doesn't exist in the NFL in 2010. It didn't exist in the NFL in 2000. Derrick Henry is such a throwback. Again, you look at the guys that have 300-plus carries one year, and the next year they fall off the cliff. This is now the third year Henry's doing it, and he's a monster. I'm with you. To call him the most valuable non-quarterback in the league, I'd really have to think about that, and that to me smacks of hyperbole. But Teddy, one running back who matters. There is one.
Teddy, I'll take it a step further, man. I mean, I think he's more valuable than most of the quarterbacks in the league. So that's how. I mean, we're seeing the best running back over a 3-4 year period in our lifetime. So
absolutely, since Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders, I'm with you on that conceptually, 100%.
Teddy covers. Let's bring Rob Veno in. And Robert, it is NBA time. Happy NBA New Year. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us, brother. Guys, Rob Veno, number one NBA expert. Rob, please correct me if I'm wrong here. Last year and the year before, by far, over at WagerTalk.com, correct?
The by far part I don't know about, but I know it's true back to back. All right, I'm going to stick with you then, Prez. Yes, true on all counts.
Yeah, guys, 270% ROI over since 2018. Wow. Wow. Those are incredible numbers. You pumped for the season? You ready to go? Have you been doing a lot of work?
I have. It's, a cram session type time of year, right? We're cramming for a lot of things right now. But yes, the NBA, obviously excited to get that going. Feel like I have a pretty good head start on it. We're going to start today with a couple of season win totals. I'm not big on futures, guys, but win totals I don't mind playing.
Rob Veno's the $2 handicapper over at WagerTalk. You guys can head over there now, grab his play. It does go on Wednesday, but it is only $2 at WagerTalk.com. Rob, let's go, man. Chicago Bulls, 42.5 wins. We going up or down?
We're going to go up. It's one of my favorite teams this year to make an ascension up the standings in the East, which all of a sudden is kind of crowded, guys. It used to be the West was the crowded place and all the garbage resided in the East, but the East has gotten much better. I'll start here real quick with the 2 point guard acquisitions that this team made offseason, Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso. They bring veteran leadership. They bring defense that this team is going to need. And with Lonzo's improved three-point shooting, you've got a couple of guys here that shoot it pretty well from distance. Caruso 40%, Lonzo 38%. Lonzo also extremely improved free throw shooting, 78% from the free throw line last year. So his playmaking ability plus all the intangibles outside of that, I think that's really good for the Bulls, who had a hole at point guard. The offense is going to be hard to defend. The thing in the NBA, if you're going to be any good, you need a big three. I guess you could refer to the Bulls' big three as Nikola Vucevic in the middle, DeMar DeRozan, who came over to this team in the offseason, and Zach LaVine, who's one of the best players in the NBA right now. They've got a lot of ways to beat you guys. They'll beat you transition-wise. It's a fast team, and they're going to play a lot of small ball lineups because of a lack of size. They got the inside post scoring with Vucevic. They can shoot from the perimeter. They're lacking one weapon while Kobe White is out for, I think, the first couple of weeks at least. But when he returns, they'll be really good from the outside. Got guys that can create their own shot. We see that in the NBA all the time. You got to have a guy or two that can do that. 320-plus per game scores, again, in LaVine, DeRozan, and Vucevic. And how about the free throw starters? Their shooting percentages, 85% out of LaVine, 84 out of Vucevic, 88 out of DeRozan, 78 out of Lonzo. Pretty good free throw shooting team where the starters are concerned as well. The major concerns here for this team would be bench. until Kobe White gets back. He's kind of the sixth man spark plug, and their defensive size, they're not all that big. I think they're expecting offseason acquisition Daniel Tice to help them around the rim. When I break it down in the end, guys, I played this total over 42.5 because they had 31 wins last year in a 72-game season. Zach LaVine missed 14 games. Vucevic only played 28 because he was a midseason acquisition. And I know the preseason doesn't account for a ton, but you're looking for cohesiveness in preseason when you have so many new parts. This team wound up number 2 in net rating in the preseason and looked really together, at least on the offensive side. So I think they can outscore a lot of teams here. I'm going to play the Bulls over 42.5 wins.
So I'm certainly not going to argue with you on this one, Rob. It's a play that stands out to me. It's a play that I've got in my pocket. But I want to ask you about Chicago coming out of the gate. Is this a team that you talked about some of the success they've had in the preseason? Do you think they come out of the gate as a bet on team, as an undervalued commodity? Or is this a squad that it's going to take them a month or two to kind of figure out their way? And then maybe we'll look to start backing Chicago, Thanksgiving or, a few weeks down the road, given all the off-season changes for the squad.
Yeah, the good news about the offseason changes, Teddy, is they're all veteran guys. We're not talking about having a really young team. For instance, the Houston Rockets, who are putting 5 21-year-olds or less on the floor at one time. So I think the veterans having that ability is good. As far as game-by-game point spread, I'm not so sure because my power ratings and odds makers, it seems like odds makers have compensated pretty well, judging off their opening line against Detroit for the Bulls. So perhaps game by game, not as much value as the season win total. We'll see how that progresses.
Rob Veno, everybody. Rob, Johnny Detroit, the trusty leader of this beautiful company, he is in the chat room, and he literally said he has to come on because Rob Veno is on. So for all of you other experts who come on Wager Talk today, take that, bitches. He only shows up for Rob Veno. Rob, Dallas Mavericks, over or under on the win-loss total?
Over. Another one of my favorite plays. By the way, we love you, JD. Thanks for coming on to see me. Mavericks over 48.5 wins here, guys. The head coaching change, it's becoming clearer and clearer that the Mavericks did not care much for Rick Carlisle's rigidness and for his offensive style. The more quotes you read as this offseason went on, the more you realize it's multiple players who wanted to get rid of Carlisle and get somebody else in there. Jason Kidd, an entirely different coach, more of a player's coach. I think that is a big, big change and a big, big plus for Dallas, especially where Kristaps Porzingis is concerned. This is one of the biggest investments on your team, and he's a no-show for most of last year, and he looks, slow, and it doesn't look anything like the New York Knicks version of Kristaps Porzingis until now. The reports are that his health is near 100%, and if you just took a look at his agility, his demeanor, his lateral movements during the preseason, he looks a lot like the guy who came from the Knicks now, and he's a happier guy. Remember, there was a little discrepancy between he and Luka Doncic. That all stemmed from the fact that Rick Carlisle limited his role, whether it be due to health or whatever. Kristaps Porzingis was reduced to a stationary spot-up three-point shooter last year. He did not like that. He resented that. In turn, he resented Luka, who didn't give him the ball enough in his mind. But all that was patched over in the offseason, and that relationship seems to be really, really good to start the year, which is big for this team. They need both of those guys in order to be really good. The bench additions here, in my mind, for Dallas, who needed defensive help, are really, really big. You've added Reggie Bullock from the Knicks, 3-and-D wing, shoots 41% from beyond the arc, 91% free throws, known as a defensive specialist. Sterling Brown comes from SMU under Larry Brown and Tim Jankovic. Comes from the Rockets, another 3-and-D wing, 42% three-point shooter, 81% from the free throw line. And finally, Moses Brown, the 7'2" center from the Oklahoma City Thunder, who last year, guys, as a rookie, steps in 2/3 of the way into the season, has a game line where he gets 23 rebounds against the Boston Celtics, 21 points, 23 rebounds. Again, he's 7'2", a rebounder deluxe, a rim protector, just what Dallas needed here. I didn't even mention Luka. That's enough said right there. Luka Doncic has played a lot of basketball this summer, much like Kevin Durant, but it seems like he's always ready to go. Final analysis here, 42 wins last year in a 72-game season where this team was COVID-ridden to start the year. Luka Doncic showed up way out of shape to start the season. They opened 9-15 to start last year and still got to 42 wins. This team, they're in a weak division. If you just look at this division, the only other real playoff contender is Memphis. New Orleans is without Zion for possibly the first 20 games. You know what's great about that? If you're Dallas, you play New Orleans 3 of your 4 times inside the first 20 games. So Dallas gets to play a Zionless New Orleans 3 times inside the division before he even comes back to the floor. San Antonio and Houston are the other 2 teams here. Strength of schedule projections, I'm not totally huge on because there's a lot of load management and stuff that goes on in the NBA. But overall, most project Dallas to have the 3rd easiest schedule in the NBA. I think all of that adds up to a 49-33 team. Doesn't seem like that's beyond expectation to me. Dallas over 48.5.
Beautiful stuff, Rob. Great having you on the show. We're going to have you on again in your regular spot on Fridays. Guys, just a real quick heads up. I know you're talking about it in the chat room. The NBA Tip-Off Show starts today. It is hosted by the great and extremely handsome, some would say exquisite, Joe Ranieri. He will be joined by 2 Tonys and a ski, which sounds like the start of a joke. Anyway, Rob Veno, $2 handicapper over at WagerTalk NBA Play. The tip-off goes tomorrow. Rob, long story short, man, and I get emails and DMs from people that are like, who do I play? Who do I play in NFL? Who do I play in college basketball? Guys, I'll make this easy. If you're looking to buy a season of NBA from start to finish, Rob Veno is literally the guy to buy. No disrespect to anybody else. I mean, Teddy's NBA is unbelievable. Ski's phenomenal. But, I mean, as Gianni says, numbers don't lie. And Rob, number one, back-to-back seasons, 241% ROI over that period. So there you go. That's the answer to who to play in the NBA. Rob, we'll see you Friday. Get out of here, brother. Teddy, get your chops ready. Guys, if we don't hit 100 likes, there will be no daily presidential address. And trust me, you want one. I got 2 NHL plays, 1 play in baseball, and what I'm now calling a new part of the segment, the pit bull play, a dog that could bite. We'll be right back. 15 seconds.
If you enjoyed the NHL opening week $9 special, so it's only fair that we offer the NBA fans the same deal. Every NBA daily package for the opening week through Monday, October 25th is just $9. That's right, you will not be paying $25 for a package, nor will you be paying $35 for 5% best bets for the opening week of the NBA, as all daily basketball packages are only $9. Make sure to tune in every Monday through Friday for the NBA Tip-Off Show on WagerTalk TV, and then save and start the NBA season with a slam dunk deal.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. I did not have a take, or at least a strong take, on either of the NBA games for tonight. So I'll give you an NBA opinion for Wednesday. Let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers at New Orleans playing the Pelicans right now. Look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. Holy moly, the line's moving as we speak. It was 4.5, 5 minutes ago, and now it's down to 3.5, which tells you, well, unfortunately, we just lost some value. Literally, that line just got popped in favor of the Pelicans. That's why we look at the live odds screen before we give the big game breakdown. All that being said, the last time we saw Philadelphia playing a meaningful game, they were in full-on meltdown mode, blowing that series lead against the Hawks in the playoffs. the ongoing Ben Simmons controversy isn't going anywhere. And I'm assuming the money coming against Philadelphia right here is they're saying that Simmons is not likely to play. I didn't think he was going to play, but I'm willing to fade Philly either way. This is a distracted and underachieving favorite. And we've seen that glass chin from the 76ers in hostile road environments. Let's not forget, there hasn't been a whole lot of sports in New Orleans. This is a big game at home for the Pelicans. And even without Zion available on opening night, I should say, it's not like New Orleans hasn't put together a capable lineup. This team might be, and again, I'm not calling them a playoff team, not even close, but they're going to be competitive. Brandon Ingram can put the biscuit in the basket. Devontae Graham's a nice add at the point guard position. I like Valanciunas at center. Jackson Hayes coming off the bench. Josh Hart coming off the bench. Thomas Satoransky, another quality veteran coming in as a backup coming off the bench. And the Pelicans are going to hang around with teams this year. I don't think they're going to be all that good. I don't think they're going to win a whole lot of games, but Philly can't be laying this on the road on opening night. I put Pelicans plus 4.5 in my pocket. If you can find it, go grab it. I'm seeing 3.5 now. And even at that number, I could only look at the New Orleans side in this one. It's the Pelicans on Wednesday. And there's your big game breakdown. Back to you, El Presidente.
Teddy, lots of thanks from people in the chat room for your big game breakdown yesterday. Nice call on the over in the Boston Red Sox game. 10 tonight. I still think you keep riding that over, man.
I certainly wouldn't play it under.
Right.
If you're playing that total, it's over or pass for this better.
Yeah. Guys, stay with us because we're going to have Dave Sharapan on after Mr. Cabang from YouCapper, and we are going to talk both baseball games. Ron Cabang, thank you for joining us, dude. I think you've been on once before. I can't remember. I'm an old, decrepit man with a bad memory, but thanks for joining us, dude. You go under the name YouCapper. You were the #1 NBA expert at SportsMemo last year. Rob Veno, #1 at WagerTalk, but he only had to beat out like 18 guys. You, 24 handicappers on SportsMemo. You kicked their asses, 81% return on investment for your clients. Outstanding work. And guys, YouCapper is the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at SportsMemo. Dude, welcome to the show. Are you psyched for the NBA season?
Yeah, I'm pumped, man. Like, I really want to go back to back like Rob Vino. Last year was my first year with SportsMemo. So, starting off my SportsMemo career with a #1 NBA capper spot, I think was awesome.
Excellent stuff. Frank Budd writes, Prez, where is Ralph Michaels? Is he okay? Totally not part of the segment, but I just want to say, yeah, he's okay, and he'll be on the show Thursday. Ron, let's get to it, brother. You want to talk Heat and Grizzlies? Heat, 48.5 wins. Where are you going here? I'm high on this Heat team. I mean, I'd roll this team.
Yeah, I love this Heat team, man. I definitely love this Heat team. Last season, they won 40 games in a 72-game season. I actually believe they have a better squad this year. They brought in some scrappy players like Markieff Morris, P.J. Tucker, Kyle Lowry. And these are the type of veteran players who understand their role and play it well. Tucker and Lowry specifically, I think they just helped turn one of the top defensive teams from last season into the top defensive team in my book. I think this team will end the season probably allowing the fewest points per game. This roster is deep too. I mean, they have serviceable replacement players at every position for any minor injuries or load management games. I think that's what sets them aside from some of the other top-tier teams. That this Heat team isn't too top-heavy at all. I mean, they're not defined by their top 2 or 3 players. One player I want to call out in particular, who I think is going to have a really big breakout year, is Tyler Herro. If this preseason is any indicator of how he will be used this season, I think he can average over 20 points off the bench and make a legit run at that 6th Man of the Year award. I definitely think this Miami Heat team can win 50-plus games this season and go over that 48.5 total.
Ron Cabang, everyone. Ron, I got to tell you, man, Johnny Detroit just logged in, literally said, when Ron Cabang is on, he has to be here. I think Johnny is full of shit today, bro. Didn't he say that about Rob Veno?
You said that about Rob, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Johnny. We know you're a secret Wager Talk Today fanatic, and we know you're on for Teddy and I. Teddy, your follow-up?
So, Ron, I want to ask you about Miami. You talk about all the veteran leadership that you bring in. And this is a team with absolutely nothing to prove in the regular season. A lot of these teams in the NBA that brought in the veterans have zero to prove. It's not about home court advantage. It's literally about being in the top 6. They don't have to play a play-in game and then letting it roll. Do you worry about a veteran team like the Heat when it comes to season wins because the regular season is not their goal?
I don't think so, only just because, I mean, for this team specifically, and that's why I go with overs on teams that are deep, because they have players who can come in and pretty much, like I mentioned earlier, like they're replaceable. I mean, they're not going to replace Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. They're not going to replace Bam Adebayo in the playoffs. But in a regular season game, when they pick specific matchups for load management and things like that, they have players who can come in right away and just help out and do their job. And I think teams like Miami and the Grizzlies, who have deep rosters, deep benches, can do that.
Ron Cabang, everyone. Guys, real quick, Thomas Bowe writes, 63 years old. I've never seen a team harder than the Red Sox. Teddy, you and I are closing in on 63. I mean, we'll be there within a decade, and I'm concerned. I mean, Thomas Bowe cannot remember 3 weeks ago. St. Louis wins 16 games in a row. Dude's memory is that bad. Oh my God, is this what's going to happen to us? Like, we're literally not going to remember a 16-win streak like 2 weeks ago?
So 2 things. 1, yes, it will happen to us. And 2,
oh God,
it's a different kind of hot. Because the Red Sox are hitting right now. And St. Louis won a bunch of games where their opponents weren't hitting. So it's a different thought process in which team is
Speaking about hot, YouCapper joining us, and Ron, last year, I'm positive you were on something like a 27-3 run. I mean, you were in NBA, you were on a run that the Boston Red Sox would be jealous of.
Yeah. I think that's what brought me into that first Wager Talk show was that hot run, and I think I ended up finishing the NBA playoffs on like a 7-0 run too. So that was pretty awesome. It was really good timing.
Outstanding stuff, guys. Hit that like button, please. 20 more likes. Grizzlies, man, over under 41.5 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Grizzlies right now, they're the ninth highest regular season win total in the West, at 41.5 wins. That projects them to finish right outside of the playoffs. This was a playoff team last season, and they won 38 games in a 72-game season with Jaren Jackson, one of their key players, out for a majority of the games. Morant missed games last season as well, but this year they're starting off healthy. And I think Morant and Triple J, I think they take a big leap forward, especially if they can both stay healthy for a majority of the year. This team has a lot of versatility and depth, too. They have players who can play and defend multiple positions, and pretty much everybody in their rotation will be able to shoot the 3 now, except for probably Steven Adams. I believe the Grizzlies have one of the best benches, too. I think they were the top efficient bench in the league last season. The Grizzlies, I feel like they can have at least 8 players averaging 10-plus points per game this season. Last season, I think they had 6 or 7 players averaging 10-plus, and then 2 more at like 9.5 or something like that. So I think their second unit will beat out a majority of the other second units in the league. I think Coach Taylor Jenkins and his system seems to be like the perfect fit for this roster. He's been able to get the most out of all of his players. And with that said, so I think they go over the regular season win total of 41.5 and pretty much sneak into that playoffs in the 7th or 8th spot.
Awesome stuff, guys. Ron Cabang, you can find him at SportsMemo. His name is YouCapper. He's the $2 Tuesday handicapper. He has an NBA play for you all, so make sure to take advantage of that. Ron, that's it, brother. Great work. We will 100% have you on throughout the NBA season. Outstanding handicap. Teddy, Dave Sharapan joining us. And, I think to myself when Dave joins us, what hat is he going to wear? What team is he going to be a bandwagoner on? And is there anything else in his wardrobe? Dave Sharapan, welcome to Wager Talk Today, bro. Yes, we have.
Every Tuesday. I look forward to this. It's basketball season, so we had to break out this one, the throwback Lakers. And it kind of goes in conjunction with what's going on, Lakers, and the Rams are playing Detroit. Nice of Johnny Detroit to stop by. Got a little surprise for him a little bit later. And the Dodgers, it all works. It's all Los Angeles. So we went Los Angeles this morning.
Okay. That sounds vaguely threatening. I got a little surprise for Johnny coming up on the show.
Listen, no. There's no threatening anything. There's no drama. We literally, we do not want any drama. You guys have your own drama every Tuesday, every day, the show between the two of you. I'm just a little piece of the wheel on Tuesdays, on Flex Tuesday. Prez, you going to lean back and just give me something? Thank you, sir. Makes my morning.
Dave Sharapan, before we get into it, we have a lot to talk about. Johnny Detroit just wrote, has to tune in for Dave Sharapan. Johnny's got a running thing going this today. I got to tell you guys a quick story. It's going to be like a minute, and then we'll get into all the stuff. And I've actually
put it on the clock.
I was going to tell
newbie, put it on the clock. Go ahead.
Keep all three of us on the screen. Don't just go to me. Teddy,
all right.
You can leave. Dave, I saved this story for you. I was going to tell it yesterday, but I thought Dave Sharapan has daughters. I have daughters. This will be very relatable. So Excellent. Last Saturday night, my friend has a Halloween party, an early party. We go as dress up. I think I tweeted my picture out. I had the handlebars, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the host of the party went as a bat mitzvah girl. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, a bat mitzvah girl,
fantastic.
When you're 12 years old, and then you become a woman, and it's in the Jewish religion, blah, blah, blah. She actually wore her original bat mitzvah girl outfit from when she was actually 12 with those frilly socks with the things that folded over. Anyway, they have two daughters. One was at university and one slept out. They did not know the one from university came home. So they go up, they go to sleep, drunk out of their mind. They wake up in the morning and they decide to have a little sesh. They decided to role play Rabbi Bat Mitzvah Girl. Guy was literally screaming, I'm making you a woman. I'm making you a woman. And she was screaming, do me, Rabbi. Do me, Rabbi. And this went on for an hour, dude. An hour. And they walk out of the room and the freaking eldest daughter is standing there going, Mom and Dad, I never want to discuss this again, but I heard the entire thing. Can you freaking, how mortified would you be?
No, I don't even have words. I don't even know what to say. The look on Teddy's face says it all. I don't think there's a word. There's nothing that can be said. I'm with the daughter. I heard this story and I can't unhear it, but I never want to discuss it again.
There you go. Dave, baseball. Let's start. 2 games tonight. We have not touched on baseball much this show. What do you like? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? Help us with these games.
Before we start with the baseball, I brought my prop here so you could see it. This is for all the bookmakers, everybody that was crying on nonstop because all the people, everybody won. So all the tissues are here for all the crying. Oh, yeah. I'll save that for you, Teddy. The baseball's pretty simple. The Dodgers have to win the day game, right? They got Walker Buehler going, but they're going against Charlie Morton. Big game Charlie Morton. Price seems a little bit high. I think the market is going to sit right around this number. The under's the best play in the game. I'm surprised they didn't put 7. It's 7, under 20 in most places. It's going to a quarter. They should have just put 7 flat and taken the bets there because I think 7 can win it. Under's the best play in the game. I want to see the Dodgers win because I want to see more baseball, because the baseball has just been tremendous. Home teams have been so good. Last at-bats, it's a huge deal. You see it in the National League, especially with those 2 walk-offs that the Braves had. Now, the American League, totally different series, right? It's almost starting pitching is non-dependent. They're not correlated. There's nothing, anything going on with the starters other than Evaldi in Game 2, who got a couple Grand Slams lead. It's a bullpen series, and it's been an over series. Well, the odds makers finally adjusted and made the number 10. I think that's finally a good number. We've been taking advantage of over in these games. We might finally have a game that's actually competitive and under the total today. I'm not saying it's going to be under. I still like the over because what the Red Sox are doing hitting-wise is unprecedented. So leaning Red Sox again, sidewise, over. We're riding this thing until somebody proves that they can go more than 4 innings in a game and pitch and not have to hand it off to the bullpen after a bunch of runs are scored.
Now, Dave, there was some thought that you were going to be in L.A. for the Dodgers game today. You were in L.A. yesterday? What's going on, man? You're living this jet-set lifestyle all of a sudden.
Incredible opportunity last week to go to Game 4 from the MLB Network, and I wasn't going to go, and the kids stepped up and said, we're going. So the Consig daughters, as Prez knows, and anyone with kids, sometimes they just, you don't know they're listening. You don't know what you're doing as a parent half the time, and you just hope they're paying attention. They said, you got an opportunity to go. I know you're tired. We'll drive, and let's go. So the kids basically drove to L.A., 18 and 16. I sat in the back, listened to a rap concert the whole way. Things sound different when you're a dad now, like when you got daughters, Prez, like when they're teenagers. Like it's. I love rap music and hardcore. All of it just sounds different. I sat in the back seat, took a nap, woke up at Dodger Stadium, went to Game 4. We were going to try to pull it off again today for the day game, couldn't make it work. So we'll be watching the game likely from a book somewhere near you. Not near you, Prez, near Teddy.
But somewhere near me, because Dave and I both live in the beautiful city of Las Vegas, Nevada. We've talked some NBA. We've talked some MLB. Let's shift our focus to football. And let me know, okay, now obviously this past Sunday it was one bookmaker after the next with a sob story of the worst weekend of the year and the worst weekend of the year. Let's start with this. How bad are the worst weekends of the year? You were a bookmaker for 20-something years. When you have the worst weekend of the year, what's it like in that meeting on Monday morning? What kind of stresses do the bookmakers face that maybe bettors don't realize?
Great question.
Well, Sunday sucks. There's just no – as you're watching the game Sunday, first of all, you got that London game, which is just a complete pain in the ass. You have to get there early and get open. Now you're taking bets. The games start in the morning, and every favorite is covering. Every one. And as you grade the games, you're like, oh, boy, numbers just getting bigger, and the parlay, number is getting worse. And then it gets to Minnesota, and you're like, okay, can the Panthers just win this game? This would be great. And then the Vikings win. They cover. The game gets graded over as well. And you go, wow. And I've been in that room where, the boss, the director, whoever the title is, just says, I'm leaving. Like there's nothing you can say at that point. You can't come out of it, even if the late 3 games all win and the dog wins the late game. The number's too big. So then it piles on with the Dallas result. And you're like, oh, man, this is terrible. And then we're sitting with the Steelers and the Seahawks Sunday night, which we said last week on this show was going to be the side. Prez and I both agreed that Seattle was going to be the play. Turns out it was. So dog covers, favorite wins, livable. But by that time, everything's rolling to the Bills. So you're dreading going to work Monday because no matter what you do, you cannot win. Even when the dog wins outright, you just grade the games and move on to the next week. So it a lot of times if you have a boss who understands the business and you go, listen, the favorites went 9-3 on Sunday. We can't do anything about that. And they get it. Other times you get guys with, advanced degrees from very prestigious schools who count beans. They're numbers guys. And they go, how is this possible? What happened? Those weeks suck. And a lot of times that's what Monday was. And then Tuesday today, they're like, well, don't let that happen again. And you go and look at the games and you got, Arizona opening up 17 and moving to 18 and a half. You got the Rams 15 against Detroit. You got Tampa Bay 12 and a half. Believe it or not, somebody might like the Bears before it gets to 14 in that game. But these other big spread games, like who's going to bet anyone on the other side of those favorites? I don't know.
We're talking here, obviously, with longtime oddsmaker Dave Sharapan at SportsBKConsig on Twitter. And I want to stay in the NFL, Dave, because you talked about the transition, because it was a bad week for the books in the NFL 2 weeks ago. And then it was a disaster week for the books in the NFL this past Sunday. We look at this week's card. What's standing out? Where's the money flow? And is this one of those weeks where you want to be betting against some of these moves after the books have been clocked back-to-back week?
Well, I like to say, and we've all heard the terms, the pros and the joes, the sharps and the squares. I personally use the rhombuses and the parallelograms just because they're shapes and they're fun to say, and nobody really cares if you could call it either one of them. A lot of people that faded those public plays got destroyed last week. I don't know how much in a hurry they're looking to take dogs, but, there's games like Kansas City, Tennessee. After last night, I thought the line would come down, and it hasn't. I thought there would be a little more, play on Tennessee. It hasn't happened yet, and Kansas City may be getting right, apparently. So what will happen is that line will probably go up. Philly's coming to Vegas. We got our boy here, Dan, who's producing the show. He's coming out to Vegas along with a lot of other people. I think a lot of people will be betting the Raiders after they won that game on the road, after all the turmoil here in Vegas and with that team. So there's a couple things there that are working. And then, go to Sunday night, Indianapolis and San Francisco. I'm fully expecting the public to be on the Colts, and we'll have to see if what I like to call the bad guys will be on the Niners, like they were a couple Sunday nights ago against the Packers. And the
parallelograms? Are the bad guys the parallelograms or the isosceles?
Oh, you said isosceles. Is it isosceles? Or is it isosceles?
It could be isosceles.
It might be. I don't know. I can't keep track of it all the shapes. I wasn't good in geometry.
Question. Before this show is over, we didn't know if it's isosceles or isosceles. But in the meantime,
we didn't.
Anything you're seeing in terms of early action for college football this week? We have just a moment left here with Dave Sharapan. You're seeing college football, sharp money, early week moves, tends to be pretty strong. Where's the money flowing here on Tuesday?
You know what? I don't really know. Again, I don't look at the college football until today because I see the numbers come out Sunday and then I try to stay away from it and let the market settle. The game, though, that I'm really interested in is the Clemson-Pitt game. I just find it fascinating that Clemson is a dog, let alone – this opened all over the place, Teddy. It was just one of those games where, oddsmakers kind of took an opinion and had this thing pick. It had this thing 2. It went all the way up to 4. And I think finally, someone said, wait a second, this is Clemson. This is Pitt. And they took the 4. So I think they saw some really good two-way action. And then, you have, is Cincinnati a team that's going to get in the playoff? Well, their schedule apparently is not good enough, but all they do is win games, and you can't make the number high enough. You keep getting the market. They're 27.5-point favorites at Navy. It seems absurd. It seems really high, and I'm sure that those rhombuses or parallelograms or isosceles, is there 2 S's? I don't know, but they're going to find value in Navy. And they're probably going to be wrong again because it just seems like Cincinnati is on a mission to win with style points and lay it on people. So those are the college games. The last one, real quick, is USC and Notre Dame, and that one, I think that one, like sometimes the odds makers just get it right, and there's a number there on that game. It's 7. It's staying 7. Like I think you're going to find good two-way action on that one.
Yeah. Dave Sharapan, everybody, and Dave, I want to end by saying this. I tell a story about my friends who get caught having sex by their kids. You tell a story about falling asleep with a rap song on your head. Jason Freeman says about your story, now that is a story. So I'd like to apologize for my shitty story. Anyway.
This is for Johnny
the
D.
The Detroit Lions.
One of these, yeah, they just sent me one. They're trying to, like, I put on a hat and the team wins. So somebody said, here's a Detroit Lions hat. Will you wear it, please, so they win a game? I'm trying everything I can, Johnny. It doesn't matter. They find ways to lose. I thought Detroit had value last week against the Bengals. I was wrong. I can't do it this week with 15. Give me 17 and I might consider it.
Yeah. Detroit. I'm going to be speaking about them a lot in the NFL presidential address. Guys, we got over 100 likes. It's time. Let's go. Daily presidential address. Okay, if you guys are watching this on Twitter, make sure to check out WagerTalk Today. What an outstanding show. We had Rob Veno and Ron Cabang from YouCapper on $2 Tuesday. Rob Veno is the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk. YouCapper is the $2 Tuesday handicapper at SportsMemo. And, of course, we had Dave Sharapan on as well. He was outstanding if you like that kind of a thing. Anyway. Free picks for tonight. I just got to let you guys know I went 3-0 yesterday. I won my baseball play, I won my hockey play, and I won my NFL play. Tonight at WagerTalk.com, I have one baseball play, one hockey play, and I am in action in the NBA. Teddy and Dave on the screen trying to annoy the shit out of me. Not possible. Okay. Free picks for tonight. Well, we're going with the Vancouver Canucks over the total. And I'll tell you guys right now, I am looking to play Vancouver and Vancouver over on a regular basis. I'm very high on this team, especially their offense. Next up is the Detroit Red Wings over the total. That's correct, Dave Sharapan. Detroit and over. I also like the Houston Astros tonight. I understand Boston is rocking and rolling. I get it. Hottest team in history, according to Thomas Bowe. He's never remembered a team hotter. I'm going to go with the Stros. And a new part of the segment, every day, I will try find what I'm calling my pit bull play, a dog that can bite. And tonight, we're going with Anaheim, plus 250 over Edmonton. I love this Edmonton team. I think this Edmonton team has a chance to win their division. I think it's a bad spot for them tonight. Take Anaheim. That's it for me. I'm Lawrence Presman. Teddy, take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Tuesday edition of WagerTalk Today. I want to thank Dave Sharapan, Rob Veno, and Ronald Cabang for joining us, and everybody behind the scenes to make this show what it is on a daily basis. We really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to hang out with us, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games, and good luck.
Thousands of you enjoyed the NHL opening week $9 special, so it's only fair that we offer the NBA fans the same deal. Every NBA daily package for the opening week through Monday, October 25th is just $9. That's right, you will not be paying $25 for a package, nor will you be paying $35 for 5% best bets for the opening week of the NBA, as all daily basketball packages are only $9. Make sure to tune in every Monday through Friday for the NBA tip-off show on WagerTalk TV, and then save and start the NBA season with a slam dunk deal.